What up, y'all? This is Tracy from Nerd Squash, and today we're going to be comparing 2020's Invisible Man to the 2000 Hollow Man. If you watched my last video, you saw that I watched the new Invisible Man, which, I liked. Something solid coming from the Universal Monsters, which, we haven't seen for a while. In my personal opinion, the last time we saw something good come out of that was 2010's Wolfman. Some people would fight me about that, but you know what? Ain't got time for you, boo. Anyway. After we saw Invisible Man, we're walking out the theater, and Matt's like, kept talking about Hollow Man, Hollow Man, Hollow Man. And I have heard that there was a movie named Hollow Man, but I really didn't know much about it. Didn't even know it was about an invisible man. So he kept going on, and he was like, oh, well, yeah, he's like, that was okay, but he's like, if you compare it to Hollow Man, it's nothing. And I was like, okay. So I get to work, and I have this buddy at work that we always talk about, like, movies and stuff like that, and first thing she said when I told her I saw Invisible Man, she's like, I love Hollow Man. And I was like, okay. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, I should probably check this out. So, last night, as a part of the quarantine weekend, or as I like to call it, Hurricane Corona, on a beautiful St. Patrick's Day weekend, quarantined in this house. The good thing is, I got to sit down and watch Hollow Man, and I loved it. How I've gone 20 years without seeing this movie is mind-blowing to me because it was so good. That was the perfect reboot, remake, whatever you kids are calling it these days, of Invisible Man. I think Hollow Man follows more with the original Invisible Man than this reboot did. Obviously, the big thing that I liked in this more than the new Invisible Man is the fact that the dude is actually invisible. He's not wearing a suit. He's invisible. You can't see him. And to me, that is an invisible man. Like, a suit is not an invisible man. The title of Invisible Man should be The Invisible Suit, because it's just, hello. I like the fact that he's actually invisible. And the fact that, they play it in the movie much like the original Invisible Man, that, whatever he is putting into his body to make himself invisible is messing with him, and or whether it's the idea, the feeling of this power. In the original he talks about, like, think about the things that I could do, and he talks about, robbing banks and doing all this stuff. Hollow Man did that. He, I think, says a line very similar. Again, because he is a monster, because we're doing something a little crazy, I don't know, it was less real. And that's one of my complaints with the Invisible Man, is that they make it too real. In Hollow Man and in the original Invisible Man, he is an actual monster. Whereas in the new one, he's a monster. He's a monster because he did terrible things to his girlfriend or whatever she was to him. Wife? I don't know. Were they married? Were they just dating? Whatever they were. They were a thing, and he was a monster because he did terrible things. And it's like, no, I want a legit monster. So, again, I just think Hollow Man kind of wins there. I have to point out the fact that, you're watching a movie from 2000 when you're watching Hollow Man. However, I think the effects are still really, really good. The transformation scenes where, first they show it with the gorilla, and then they show it with Sebastian's character. The going invisible and then coming back. Like, it's obviously, I think they could do a better job with it now, but considering that's 2000, I think it's pretty darn good. Some things that I will put against Hollow Man is the fact that his flesh mask, I don't even know what to call it, it's nasty. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable looking at it. I get that they wanted to do something different than just like the cloth bandages that Claude Rains rocks, but it's not good. Like, it's just, it's unsettling. To me, it would have just been more effective, like the scenes where they showed, like him just wearing like it almost looked like pajamas or like doctor hospital type stuff, and he's just, you know, the invisible head and invisible hands and stuff like that. I think, like, why didn't we just go with that? Why did we have to have this flesh mask? It was kind of creepy. Also, at the end of the movie, when he plans on like blowing everything up and he's like, all right, I'm getting out of here, but he wanted to like look normal and like not be noticed. And the fact that he puts the flesh mask, as I like to call it, on, he draws eyebrows and he puts on this like wig, and he straight up looks like Tom Cruise as a burn victim. And it has not stopped haunting me since last night. Hollow Man is the perfect remake of an Invisible Man story for a modern age. Granted, can we even say 2000 is modern age anymore? That sentence freaks me out. Not gonna lie. It's a solid movie. And what I want to know is, you know, granted, after I saw Invisible Man, all these people are talking about Hollow Man, but like, besides that, nobody really talks about the movie. And it's so good. And I'm wondering if it just came out at a time or a year where it just got overshadowed or something like that. But to me, like, that doesn't even really matter, especially when it comes to a genre like horror, where it seems like a lot of times the underdogs are the ones that truly like stick with people and get a large fandom. Overall, I think Hollow Man had just really good elements to it. It had good story, good acting, good effects. It had like really good kills. I thought all the kills were kind of like surprisingly cool and creative for what I thought I was gonna get. I don't know, something about the 2000s-ness of it. I didn't really think it was gonna be much of a horror movie and more just kind of like some action thriller type thing, but like there was like a lot of crazy horror elements about it, and it's solid. So this is me coming right out and saying it. I think Hollow Man from the year 2000 is the best reboot or remake of the original Invisible Man that we could have, because if you compare it to the current Invisible Man movie, it's just, when you sit there and really think about it, Invisible Man was great, okay? I walked out feeling the movie. But since I have seen Hollow Man, I can honestly say that I like it less. Still a solid movie. I'm not here trying to, you know, shit on this movie. It's a good movie. But when you compare it to Hollow Man, it's tough. It's hard to see it as a better movie. There were so many cool elements. And you know, maybe at the end of the day, the reason Invisible Man went in such a different direction is because Hollow Man has been done, and there were so many things that it was like, okay, well that's how you do a modern day Invisible Man, and they were like, well shoot, it's been done. You can't just keep churning out the same stuff because it's what everybody complains about. So that's why they're like, let's make a suit that looks really texturally weird and makes you uncomfortable. Am I the only one? When you compare the two, it's hard to see 2020's Invisible Man in a good light. But that is my personal opinion, and certainly won't be everyone's. So, you know, you're certainly allowed to wage a war in the comments below if you so feel it necessary. But, you know, again, these are all just opinions. Everybody's got their own. So, do what you gotta do, boo. Don't forget to let me know in the comments below, have you seen Hollow Man? What did you think? Do you think it's a better reincarnation of the original Invisible Man? Like, let me know. Also, does Sebastian look at it like a Tom Cruise burn victim at the end? Please tell me I'm not the only one that sees that. Maybe you'll see that after I've said this and you can't unsee it and you'll hate me forever because I've said that, but whatever. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll check you nerds later.